Don't you want it? 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 You lose your little mind. 5 dead lives.
Welcome to the Deadlights Mini. I'm your host, Minisode.
And I'm Mini Leslie, bringing you your mini episodes that you really want.
You want the mininess, and we're here to give it to you. And guess what? It's one of those special episodes. One of those special episodes where we do the hard job of rating the last 10 movies.
It's so hard.
It's really hard. And in this particular batch, I feel like we actually watched a good amount of good movies.
Yeah, we had some that I've never heard of. So that's always really fun to do that here in this space. But also just kind of expand the horizons and get out of, your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We were at the mercy of the bucket. Brought us quite a good group of movies. I'll read through them real quick. First starting with Candyman, Pontypool, The Endless, Under the Skin, Deliverance, Poltergeist, Insidious, Saw 2, House, The Craft. Wow. Cool.
Wow.
Yeah. Like I said, pretty big, I mean, there's some heavy hitters in there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, you're right. Some indie ones that maybe you've never heard of before.
Yeah.
And also some foreign ones. We got a good mix here. I like the bag.
Well, two of them for sure were the second part too.
You're right. We do have a couple sequels
Yeah,
in this list as
couple
well.
of sequels. Because just to remind you all, we put the sequels once we've seen the first movie. Yep. We don't have all of them in there. No. Just to keep it fair to the rest of our pool of stuff.
I think it's also kind of interesting to, have those movies and then continuing chronologically, because not only does it, I think help us with the story-wise, but also seeing how these filmmakers are like progressing and how the franchise, I guess, is progressing too.
Yeah.
Over time. So yeah, those both were actually kind of interesting to look at and then consider the first ones too.
Oh yeah.
All right. So as always, we're gonna start from the bronze, then go silver, then go gold. Number 3. Do you have one, Leslie?
Number 3. I think I'm gonna have to go with Insidious.
Insidious.
Wow. Just because I remember how fucking scary it was when I first saw it. And this year alone, I have seen this movie 4 times.
Wow.
4 times.
It's been an Insidious year for you.
It has. And I've seen Insidious those 4 times in 1 month. So It's like, yeah, it's really ingrained in my mind. I think it did well to push forward a lot of those jump scares and that type of storytelling. That, I didn't give it the respect that it deserves just because, I wanted to get scared deep within me and not just kind of like a reaction. So, but like that takes time. That takes some, thought to put together too. So, I like what the Insidious stories have progressed to, and I want to see the Red Door.
Me too.
I
really do as well. Yeah, you're totally right. And with the jump scare, we did mention it in that episode as well, that movie kind of did feel like a chapter marker in jump scares, where they were all so good. They were, and like, not just like, they didn't just make us jump, but they actually felt like they progressed the story and made sense within the story that we're watching, that it inspired other movies to try to do that after that too. And you just saw a crazy surge of movies doing jump scares and a lot of times failing because they were just trying to copy
It was just
what Insidious did. So
there's too many. You have to space them out.
Mm-hmm.
And also what really helps with these jump scares is the sound. Watching it with my family, and anytime it was just that like violin kind of like my cousins would like start hiding their face and like, I hate that sound. But like that is what I love.
it's so creepy.
One film that I think would not have been as successful, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, is Babadook. It has a very similar style in the sense of jump scares and sound and color even. And if it weren't for Insidious, I think we would have maybe gotten a great story still, but a totally different look. Because I think this person took the great parts of Insidious and made Babadook.
Yeah.
Because I was afraid. Babadook is scary.
Yeah, and to their credit, I think that
It's creepy.
if they were taking directly from Insidious and using that as some sort of inspiration, they succeeded. That's an example of a movie that didn't feel like they were just trying to copy it, but use it as inspiration and evolved it more.
Exactly.
Still made it scary.
Yep.
So yeah, I agree with that. I think that Babadook is creepy, eerie. And Insidious. Okay, great. Well, that's a
Dick.
dick. Okay, number 3 for me.
Yours.
Number 3 for me is a classic one that I only saw for the first time probably within the last like 4-ish years. Took me a while to see it, but really enjoyed it when I saw it. It's Candyman. Candyman. Obviously, Candyman is a pretty big name within like the horror lore. So I had heard about this movie for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I finally saw it, it was one of those examples of going into a movie expecting one thing, in this case, like just a slasher film, but then getting something completely different, which is like this really like fucked up love story and a beautiful film. Like how they shoot it and how they shoot her. It's cinematically really lovely. Like I really think it's a pretty film, which is not what I was expecting when I saw it first.
Yeah. You're not going into a horror movie being like, oh, okay, this movie's gonna change my life.
No.
Or, oh, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna see some fucked up shit, but what a beautiful film.
Yeah.
You know, that those two just contradict each other. But yeah, I agree with you. This was the first time that I had seen Candyman. And I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah. And then on top of it, I do think that it is dealing with, socioeconomic issues and societal issues that were very prevalent then that are still prevalent today. And especially because it takes place in Chicago, too. It feels very close to home. But they produced a pretty film that actually was trying to say something and actually creeped me out. So in my mind, that was a very successful horror film.
It's invasive. It's just like to think that you could just enter someone else's apartment through, their bathroom is so creepy. And
in real life, that's scary.
Yeah. And then like these assholes knew they were doing that. They didn't care, and that just gave these folks with the criminal mentality to be able to take full advantage of that.
Cabrini Green building was like the Wild West. It was gang run. Cops would never show up there. Why would they?
There's a movie that is very much like that, and I wonder if it has inspiration from Candyman or just a situation in Chicago. What was it called?
Was it horror?
No, it wasn't horror. It was more like, I think it was with He came out in Lord of the Wings.
Wings. Viggo Mortensen?
The Australian. Is he Australian?
No.
He came out in Lord of the Rings. He was one of the humans with the blonde hair. He was the son of
Sean Bean?
Sean Bean. He comes out in The Boys as well.
Yes.
I believe it was him.
Yeah.
So that actor was in this film, and it was essentially he's like a cop in the future, and there's a whole building that's ran by gangs and all this stuff, and they can't infiltrate in to try to take down the boss because like everybody's afraid. So,
and again, like these places in reality, that's a fantasy film, but in reality, the police would just be like, we're not going to go in there.
No.
What's the point?
They just ignore it. That's your deathbed. Yeah. Literally.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Yeah. Candyman.
Oh,
good one.
Candyman.
All right. How about our silver medal?
Silver medal for me is going to be Poltergeist. I just adore this film so very much. I have not seen any of the other ones. I think there's two, and I think there's a third.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Haven't seen those. I keep it classic.
OG.
No, I'm just kidding. I just learned that there was 2 and 3 not too long ago. But I think it's just a wonderful film. It portrays a more functional kind of parent characters that we don't get often. And I know it's a film, and me screaming, why? They're not going to hear me. Why? Why are you doing that? But yeah, I think it, in that sense, just brings a little more logic into their decisions. And so, like, I think the script is good because of that. And then, yeah, it's just it's so much fun.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
Yeah, and it's a classic for a reason.
It's a cult classic.
For an absolute reason. Yeah, I love Poltergeist. I think that it's, you mentioned Insidious already. I would say that Poltergeist is probably where they got a lot of inspiration for Insidious, which is just wild to think about. You know, these films being inspired by other filmmakers, and then that evolves the genre for other people to get inspired by that filmmaker. So it's just like this, it's cool when you see that, because you just see how the medium of film is just always going to evolve.
Yeah.
Because people are always going to get inspired by other people.
It's like a way of communication. It's just like a lovely conversation we're having. I like it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
What's your second?
My silver is going to be a different kind of film.
Oh.
Under the Skin. Probably one of the slower burn movies that we've ever had on this podcast. Very slow. Again, another movie that's very dependent on sound, and just creates a mood. You know, we saw some creepy things. We saw some scary things in there. But I think that the thing that really just sticks with you in that movie is the really drab and dark mood that it gives you. You don't leave it with much hope for anything. It kind of it's like saying that humans are shit, aliens are shit, the world is shit. It's a shitty, dangerous place.
It is.
And that's
so
it.
let her take you.
Yep. It's either her or the ocean that's going to kill you.
Yeah.
So you pick. You pick.
Man, yeah. This movie, I again seen it here only, but I had heard about it, and it's just great. I love those scenes in the Black Void. I think they are so well thought out and successful in that way.
And she's great.
Yeah.
Scarlett Jo is just so good. And I think it's a great example of a performance that on the surface level you would think isn't hard, because she doesn't do a lot, quote unquote, like physically, But there's so much going on behind her eyes of this being that's trying to understand the world and trying to understand humans. And you can see her brain working behind her eyes. She doesn't have to do much with her face for us to understand her thought process. And that's how you know it's a really, really good performance.
Yeah.
Because we understood what was going on in her head.
I want to see those people that are saying that she's not doing much. Therefore, her acting is not great. I want to see them do 3 hours of nothing. Just no expression, no talking, move real slow, and very, very, what's the word I want to use?
Intentional.
Perfect.
She was an animal. She wasn't really playing a human in that movie. She was playing a stalking.
Yeah, like a cat, like a big cat. Big cats, they can't move fast because they're huge. That would exert a lot of energy. So you have to move very thoughtful, very cautious. Any big movement is like, okay, now I'm going to have to rest.
Yeah.
So like that's what she was doing throughout the whole film.
And I think that's probably why it is slow. Because that's how she just functions in general. But to me, it was slow but not boring. I was intrigued by everything that was going on. The cinematography kept it going too very, very well. And the sound, incredible. Really incredible. And I think that it is similar to, I think I mentioned this in the episode, but it's similar to A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. Because that movie too is extremely dependent on the sounds and the soundtrack to convey what the vampire is feeling. And that's what the sound was doing in Under the Skin too. Very successfully.
Really good. I don't think I have maybe a half, but it made me aware that there were a lot of times in the car scenes where it was just that, her driving, and there was no background music. It was just her roaming around, and then you can just like hear all the clickings and the turnings, and then her just like just looking at people. Yeah.
The hum of traffic, just like, that's it.
Yeah.
You're in there.
That scene where she's just like waiting there and all these like swarm of people just come over and they can tell that she's not from here. So everybody's just like looking at her because like she's wearing a fur coat. She has red lips. She has black hair, which not anyone there had black hair.
No.
So she just like looks absolutely out of character, out of place.
Vulnerable. But she not. You are. You all are.
Well,
She's hungry.
But like, imagine putting like a tiger in a city.
Yeah.
Like the tiger would be so afraid, but like, it's still a tiger. Who the fuck is gonna try and catch it?
Nope. Don't do it. If you do, you're gonna get bit.
Ow.
Or sucked into some sort of black jelly.
Ooba.
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 All right. Number ones, the gold medals of the last 10. Here they come. You got one?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah.
What is it?
Mine is gonna be The Craft.
The Craft, of course.
I do remember giving it a 2, but this is where I think in this space we're rating them for particular reasons. We're going through the criteria, but there's still the nostalgia is strong, and that for me makes me put The Craft in number 1 because it's still a feel-good kind of movie for me. Yeah, it sucks. It's garbage. It's trash. But it's like the most greatest trash. I like it. And I think it really started my interest in... I mean, I'm not a full-blown, like, witch. But I love the lore of just witches and witchcraft and all these things, and I think this is where it comes from the craft.
Yeah. And I think that you're totally right in that this nostalgia factor outweighs pretty much everything else that we review them for. And I think that's important.
Oh, you gave it a 2. I didn't give it a 2.
I think you gave it a 2.5.
I think I gave it a 3.
Or a 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, I think it's important, like, within these episodes, we do, like you said, have the specific things that come down to it. But it is a really important part of film to have that nostalgia part of it, because we associate these films with certain parts of our lives, good or bad, and it's a very powerful thing. It's it's a really cool thing to have this piece of art associated with a certain time in your life and a certain feeling that you had, and it's really important. And that's one of the coolest parts, I think, of film, or really just any art in general. And so, yes, when we're doing the individual episodes, we have to look at it through a certain lens. But when we're doing these ratings, I'm fully supportive of just like whatever you feel is personal for you, because film is very personal.
It is.
Even no matter the number we give it on the episode, it doesn't matter. It's personal.
I definitely have my feel good movies that when I'm feeling poopy, I just like put it on because I need to feel either like a kid again or just like laugh and let go.
That's important.
Yeah.
We need those films. No matter how good.
I have 3 of them that I watch.
Is one of them The Craft?
No.
Oh, what are they?
One of them is Spirited Away.
Okay, well that's really good.
It's so cute.
Yeah.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Also love that.
Fun. And the Mean Girls.
Love Mean Girls too.
And I see them in that order, and I see them back to back.
That's great.
When I feel like shit, and I'm just like,
That's a great lineup.
Yeah.
That is a great lineup. Hell yeah. Awesome. Well, maybe you got to add The Craft in that rotation a little bit.
I mean, 4 movies back to back.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
The marathon.
The Rings. Just like absolutely invest myself.
Yeah.
19 hours.
Do it. Fuck it. Film. Okay, so my number 1 actually is going to be one that we already said before, Poltergeist.
Yeah.
I just want to praise it again. I think Poltergeist really ticks all the boxes that I have for films as far as when it comes to horror. We're getting the scariness for sure with the practical effects and the special effects actually that they were using too. We're getting some sort of deeper message with this family, and the writing was really good, and they felt believable, which made the horror even feel more. The stakes were higher because I felt more for these characters, and you just have that great Spielberg-ness coming together with the Tobe Hooper-ness to make this like a perfect combination of like a family film turned horror.
Yeah.
It felt nostalgic, but it felt scary. It was fun, and it felt fun. I think I was surprised actually at how much I really enjoyed it this last time that we watched it. I hadn't seen it in a while, and I was like, damn, there is a reason that this is, there's a reason that this is sticking around for so long.
Yeah.
I thought it was so good.
It's great. And also, what makes it, I think, even more prominent is that there is this like, what's it, curse or whatever, that unfortunately some members of the Poltergeist have passed away and stuff like that. Yep. So just like all these little things that keep it keep it in people's
Keep relevant. Yeah.
I was like, you already used the word radar.
There's another R word. Not that one.
Run.
Wow. The movies.
Yay.
The movies are past 10. Do you have an honorable mention? Because sometimes we do that.
Yeah, we do that. I want to... which one? I got
one. I just wanted to mention Pontypool.
Oh, yeah?
Actually, because that was probably one of the most different zombie films that I've ever seen in my
Yes.
life. Like the fact that it was so heavily dependent on audio. Like if we're talking about audio in a film, that one hit
That
it
one.
on the head because the audio was incredible. Because it's all about audio and how we spread the zombie viruses through sound and all that kind of stuff. I'd never seen anything like that before.
No.
So that one definitely, honorable mention on that one, different kind of zombie movie.
Thumbs up.
Yep.
I just want to give a really weird honorable mention
Sure.
to The Endless.
All right, The Endless.
Because I just keep thinking about it. Just with how horrible it must be to, I mean, I think the deeper meaning maybe that, I mean, what I got was that if you continue to be in your trauma and not grow and learn and let it go, you're just going to keep repeating over and over and over again the way that these folks did in their little bubbles. And that's scary. That's so scary.
I loved that tie between the horror element, this sci-fi horror element of people literally being stuck in looping time, mixed with the meat of what they were trying to say. I thought that was great. You
That
know,
was
like
great.
there were people. We have people that get stuck in loops in life, and then we have people literally in time loops in that movie. I thought that tie was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
For that film.
And I wish that Endless was executed a little bit better.
Yeah.
Because the first one was really great. But I do enjoy that kind of like callback to the first film, and that is how Endless ends.
Yeah.
And it gives you like, oh shoot, like these people never made it home.
Oh fuck. We're always gonna.
And
be
then
in
they're
loops.
gonna kind of have to keep doing it all over again. Ugh, it's awful. So yeah,
Downer ending, but yeah,
yeah,
we are talking horror. I guess. We're talking loops.
we're talking loops.
Cool. Wow. The
well.
last 10. Wow. After this, we do have 5 more episodes until the season 2 is over. We'll hit our 70th episode as the season finale. It's been quite a season so far. We'll see what the last 5 movies are that we get
That's
to watch.
so crazy. We've watched 70 movies in the past 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah. 30.
The two of us, and then we watch more film.
Oh, for sure. Definitely.
We're just consuming.
Consuming. Arr, 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 arr. Chomp,
Yeah.
chomp, chomp. It's been fun. It's been fine. It's been fun, and I'm excited to see the last couple movies that we get to see in the season and where it goes from there.
I'm excited.
Me too.
I'm so excited.
Until
Well-
the next minisode.
Yeah, folks. Call us.
Yes, please. Let us know what your favorite ones from the last 10 were.
Yeah. And then like if you have any other suggestions, our bucket is full, but also we don't mind.
It's endless.
It's endless.
It's endless.
It's a constant loop.
Oh shit, we're in our own loop.
Oh,
Damn it, we got here without even realizing it.
God damn it.
Oh, darn it.
Oh, well, do you want to see this film?
You want to see this film?
Do you want to first? Do you
Yeah.
want to see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, follow me on Color Me Leslie. I keep hitting this microphone.
And
My
me at
bad.
BP Richie T, and us at the Deadlights Pod. Also check out Playground Social, which is the studio that we're recording this from. But until next minisode, let's get mini spooky.
Ooh.
We are mini and we are rating things.
We are rating. We are rating things.